What's up guys, this is Astronox. I'll be talking about Cerise 5-star Ice Ranger. Yes, Ice, and she's limited. So many Ice limited heroes, oh my god, beside Baiken as Earth and Soul Bad Guy as Fire. But I'll be jumping on to the official Cerise video from the Epic 7 Korean channel, YouTube channel. And yeah, let's look at her stats. And let's look at her skill animations and what they actually do, and then I'll go back on this website. Right now I'm on epic7x.com, and they actually have all her skills on the same page, so it's gonna be easier for me to give my thoughts about her skill set. So let me jump on to the official video here. All right. Here we go, baby. Let's see this thing. So let's pause here. So that's her stats. I mean, survival-wise, it's pretty decent. Now, she's got some pretty high speed, and that's what you want on her because you want her to go first so she can disrupt teams that rely on combat readiness boosting effects, because she can just block those combat readiness boosting effects, and that is definitely one of the way that she's going to be shining. You know, she's got a skill 2 that stuns. It boosts her combat readiness by 50%. She got combat readiness boosting on skill 1, which is going to allow her together with skill 2 to cycle through her skill set quite fast with that 122 base speed. That's going to be pretty sweet. Her attack though is definitely on the low side, but I feel like she's going to be more for utilities like a support and not so much as a damage dealer. But we can see here that she has 14.4% crit chance on her team imprint, and well, that's good. If you want to get some more crit chance on the other 3 heroes on your team, there you go. The self-memory imprint, effectiveness plus 27%. Effectiveness is definitely going to be a stat that you want in PvP, because I mean, because a lot of heroes, or at least a support on their team, might have really high amount, like a high amount of effect resistance, and you want to counter that with high effectiveness. Anyways, let's go and check her skills here. I mean, her skills, they are beautiful, and the artwork very nice. We thought initially it might be a 4-star hero because it was data mined that she would be paired with Tamarine on a dual banner. But anyways, that is her skill 3. I'll just let it run, you know, with the animation, and I'll give my thoughts afterward. But we have this thing going up to 100% chance, guys, to restrict. That's a new debuff being added to the game, and the target will receive no combat readiness increase effect other than that provided by their speed stat. That is huge, guys. That is huge. And the biggest thing about this skill 3 of hers is that it will reduce buff durations by 1 turn. What that means is immunity sets are gone. You know, she's going to be able to remove that 1 turn immunity buff from the enemy team, right? And then she will apply a restrict and decrease defense for 2 turns afterward. And that's why it's huge. It's because it happens in that order. The buff duration is reduced by 1 turn, and then you got the restrict and decrease speed debuff being applied afterward. And then she also gets invincibility for 1 turn, which is huge because we all know how many counters there are in PvP, especially counter sets, Elbrus Ritual Sword, counter effects built in the hero, ML Ken. You know, so that's going to be huge. It's going to allow her to definitely survive up until that turn 2, where she can use her skill 2 to, well, let's go at the skill 2 here. We might see the animation right after this. So this is definitely a very interesting hero. She's limited, so here's your chance to get her. I mean, I would definitely try to get her because she is definitely game changing. She's gonna, look at this here. She's using S3, right? They have immunity set on a hero here. Look at this. Gone. Restricts being applied. Speed down for 2 turns as well. The thing is, of course, you need the effectiveness to back her crazy kit. you know, they just use auxiliary lots to boost combat shrewdness, and it didn't even work. You know, Lilius was the one that followed. So I mean, blocking combat shrewdness boosting effects is huge. You know, you got your arena defense, your guild war defense, but especially arena defense. All those cleave teams, if you're able to go first with her, then man, that's beautiful. I mean, you don't have to go first with her, I guess. You could have another hero go first if that hero boosts combat shrewdness for her, and then she, as long as she goes before the enemy team, right, then she can apply reduce buff duration by 1 turn, which is going to take immunity buff off. But if they have like a barrier, let's say from Fallen Cecilia, right, the barriers, they last 2 turns, so it's not going to take the barrier off. It's still gonna have 1 turn left, but still, the fact that she takes immunity set off is massive. In the order that it's happening, it's beautiful. So that skill 2 here explodes a magical sphere standing for 1 turn before decreasing combat shrewdness by 30%, increases combat shrewdness of the caster by 50%. So she's gonna be able to cycle through her kit quite well. I mean, the base speed that she has is definitely gonna be super helpful for her to go first and just continuously like go and go. So very powerful. And the soul burn effect, look at this. Soul burn ignores effect resistance. It is 20 souls, but is extremely powerful, allowing you to make sure that you're gonna land that stun against any target, basically. If you I mean, it's even gonna bypass that innate 15% resist, which is definitely a problem in the game. So yeah, definitely very powerful. It can allow you to do a combo with Specimen Says, which is also very powerful. Now, yeah, it's a stun, so they're going to be losing potentially up to their full turn. So you can disable a key hero on the enemy team, a hero that might be able to take those yeah, those debuffs that she applied, those the restraint and the speed down. So if they have like a Lilius or a DJ Bazaar hero like that, Destina, like if they, assuming they don't have immunity set, right, and you can soul burn this thing to ignore effect resistance, yeah, you might be able to do something pretty good. Now let's see this thing in action here real quick. Okay, there we go. It's 20 souls. I mean, she's got some beautiful animations. Her skill 3, man, it's insane. Okay, now that's skill 1 here. We got well, combat shrewdness when she attacks, so that's good. 15% is definitely, it's pretty sweet with her her high base speed. So definitely gonna allow her to get more turns in. And let's see it in action here. Yeah, it's like she's shooting like a bow and arrow, right? So we thought that she might be a ranger initially, but yeah, I guess, I mean, not a ranger, sorry, a mage. But you know, with her staff, she's able to summon a bow, an arrow. So there you go. Okay, let me jump on to a page on the website epic7x.com to see all her skills together, plus what catalyst will be required for the skill ups, and I'll talk about what you need for awakening her, and I'll go over her skill sets and like where like strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. Okay, so all her skills are here, and then here you see what you need for skill ups, right? And the total resources that you will need for skilling her up. You will need fighter medals, 6 here for skilling her up, but you will also need 10 of them if you want to do her 6th awakening, guys. So if you want to start farming your catalyst, if you are missing some of these, you know, the letter sheets, you will need 36 of those if you want to fully skill her up. And you will need Order of the wait, what is it called? Order of the Shield Insignia catalyst. You will need 15 of those to do her 5th awakening. So yeah, if you don't have them, well, it's your time to farm them now before she gets released. She will be released in a week. So yeah, be prepared. You have time to get some Covenant bookmarks. Potentially, if you are low, maybe you luck out and you're able to pull her early on. So her skills here, that's the thing though. Like, you have to deal with Bazaar still. I mean, it depends what is going to be thrown at you, but with this hero, if you're able to go first, you can definitely stop all sorts of cleave teams that rely on combat readiness boosting. I mean, auxiliary lots, I mean Judith, Roside, maybe they use double combat readiness boosters, maybe they use Shadow Rose, maybe they use what's her name, Maya. So you've got this is very powerful, right? You're attacking all enemies. She won't be countered, like she won't be like straight up killed by some counter attacks. Yes, there is Charles that can trigger Elbrus skill 1 and 2 skill 2, and then skill 2 will potentially dispel her buffs. But the damage happens before the dispelling, so you are still going to survive all that. Unless, that's the thing. If Charles trigger the counter first, and then Martial Artist Ken follows, that means, the dispel happens, and then ML Ken, potentially kills her. But, yeah, I think counter from ML Ken would happen first, and then the Elbrus would trigger. But still, she is a support, and you're probably going to be building her with some survival. She already has some pretty decent survival stats, as we've seen at the start of the video. So it shouldn't be too hard for her to survive like a counter, just one counter, There's different ways that you could go about it to build her. I mean, if you are going to be pairing her with a Challenger Domino, then you want to increase her crit chance. So you could go with a crit chance necklace. For the ring, I mean, I do recommend effectiveness, since that's going to be pretty huge. You definitely want to apply this. You want these things to happen, right? You definitely want to decrease their buff duration by 1 turn, and apply this restrict, and especially restrict over decrease speed for 2 turns. And the invincibility, you will be getting it, and then you can ignore effect resistance with the soul burn on skill 2. So definitely very powerful to land that stun on a key hero. In all sorts of scenarios, like a stun is definitely super useful. You're trying to set up a burst in a guild war to take out like a support, or you want to maybe disable the support to take out a damage dealer so you don't get any healing coming their way. So you could squeeze that that soul burn stun on the support, or maybe you don't soul burn it, you just straight up use it on one of their damage dealer. The thing is, she is ice, right? So if you're trying to land that thing on a earth hero, even if you're ignoring effect resistance with the soul burn, you still have to go through that check of 50% chance of missing against earth because you are at elemental disadvantage. And it's the same thing with her skill 3, because it's an attack, it deals damage. That means it's not like Falconer Clury. She will not bypass the elemental check, so keep that in mind. That means always 50% chance of missing against earth. The decrease buff duration for by 1 turn, the apply restrict, and the decrease speed. So this hero, is ice. You can have a Bazaar. The thing is, against teams that don't rely on combat readiness boosting, but more like a Bazaar that reduce combat readiness on top of applying Unable to be buff debuff after dispelling all buffs from the enemy team. You've got the decrease of combat readiness by 30%. Then the fact that she's ice versus him earth, the 50% chance of missing. Of course, the thing is, she's not boosting the combat readiness of your team too, so it's gonna be I mean, it's not going to be so hard for the enemy team to actually cut in after her, right? And if they have a way to deal with the debuffs, or maybe the debuffs are not going to affect them that much because, I mean, they already have a pretty high amount of combat readiness, so you're not going to get that much out of the decreased speed. I mean, they might be like, you know, close to going. If they have, of course, a Desert Jewel Bazaar to... I mean, Desert Jewel Bazaar is definitely a solid counter to her because he can just dispel all debuffs. And then, actually, I will jump in-game to show you guys this stuff. So her skills, I mean, we see all this here. We got the skill ups. So the skill 3 will have 100% chance to apply, restrict, and decrease speed, assuming you actually land the hit with your effectiveness. You counter the effect resistance. There's always a 15% chance of missing. That's just an innate resist in the game. Unless you soul burn and you ignore effect resistance, then yeah, you will have to go through that check. And then the skill 2, something I want to point out is you got the stun, but not only that, you got the decreased combat readiness. So, you know, if they were close to going, I mean, you're getting a turn 1.3 turn right there. I mean, if they that's huge. That's a lot of time that you're buying out of this thing. I mean, maybe they were about to go, and then you stun them. You reduce their combat readiness as well. That's huge. Maybe you land this thing on a support, right? That can you know, that can dispel. That's huge. Maybe they don't have an immunity set, right? Because they are reliant on their effect resistance. Maybe they have 200% effect resistance, but you don't care about that because you got the burn that ignores effect resistance. So you're able to stun them and also lower their combat units. They're gonna be out of sync, even if they, let's say, even if another hero, let's say their cleanser is able to remove the stun, right? If you are able to push back the combat units of even like some damage dealer back, then they're gonna be out of sync. Maybe maybe they are like a buffer that applies attack buff, whatever. So it's gonna mess up their turn order and potentially like heavily reduce the amount of damage they can deal. But yeah, using that on a hero like Lilias, right? Lilias is gonna be you know, definitely a counter to this hero. If she goes first, she's able to dispel those debuffs, and that's definitely going to be huge. So I'm gonna be jumping in game to go over like heroes, you know, that could counter her and stuff like that, and maybe some heroes that can be paired with her. And let's look over the artifacts that she can wear, which one you should be wearing. So let's jump in the game. Alright, here we are. So, yeah, we got that Bazaar, of course, like, her restraint and her speed down. I mean, it's not gonna do too much to him. He's still gonna mess up your combat readiness on your team, and he's gonna push your team down, and, I mean, potentially allowing his team to follow and cut in quite easily. So, yeah, Ice versus Earth, 50% chance of missing there. Well, he at least has like a lower amount of speed. The thing is, you could use Cerise in combination with Challenger Domino. Like I said, like, she doesn't increase combat readiness of the team, but if you think about it, right, you could have Cerise Challenger Domino. You have high crit chance on Cerise, like 100% chance, right? And it's giving combat readiness to let's just go and open Challenger Domino here so you guys understand. Maybe you don't quite know her skill set, right? This passive, right, she's gaining combat readiness every time there's a critical hit happening against the enemy, right? So she could land up to 4 critical hits, which would give up to 40% combat readiness to Challenger Domino. You could have her more speedy, right? Or maybe she's with, there's a hero on the team that has a speed memory imprint affecting her and Cerise, allowing you to, well, increase your chance to go first if you're not too comfortable, you know, with your speed. You feel like you might get outsped in your league. And then, you know, you boost this thing, you power this supercharge, affecting the whole team, boosting crit chance by 50%, for the whole team. And then you got the combat shrewdness increase of 20%, which might allow you to follow with the rest of your team, so the enemy doesn't cut in, which would definitely be a very powerful combo. And you got crit chance memory imprint on Challenger Dominal, which would help Ceres out. Ceres, well, if I don't know, if you weld maybe, or you got like you felt like going for more copies, or you use unknown slates on her, definitely a solid choice for that, right? Then yeah, you could increase the crit chance of the team with Challenger Dominal and Ceres, so you're gonna need less crit chance on her. But yeah, crit chance necklace on Ceres would definitely be viable. And then that's the thing, though. That's the thing. On okay, this skill, right? Skill 1 of Challenger Dominal. First of all, she's a mage, so you could have Tagil's ancient book on her to just soul burn her S1 if you want to kill someone. So you take someone out, right? And then you are wearing the artifact, there it is. You're wearing Sash Itanes on Ceres, which is going to boost the team's combat shrewdness by up to 16%. So with the 20% combat shrewdness increase of Challenger Dominal, plus the Sash Itanes that triggered, you're talking about like 36% combat shrewdness for your other 2 heroes, which would allow you to quite easily just follow quickly after Ceres and Challenger Dominal. The other 2 hero follows and the enemy doesn't cut in, and then you can pick their team apart, which would definitely be a powerful setup. And Sash Itane will be triggering every time you kill someone, so that is huge. Of course, if you have memory imprint from Ceres and Challenger Dominal, plus the crit chance buff from Challenger Dominal, your other 2 heroes, you don't even need to worry about building crit chance. We're talking about 14.4% on Ceres, and on Challenger Dominal, shouldn't be too hard to actually get her imprint up, because she's a 4-star hero. You can just use normal Ice Dominal to imprint her, right? So yeah, 12.6, that is pretty crazy. That is 27% plus 50%, 77%. That's basically all you need. You don't even need crit chance on your gear. You have 27% crit chance on Ceres already, and a lot of heroes get some crit chance from their awakening. I mean, maybe you need a bit of crit chance, but we're talking not even 10% at that point. I mean, probably more, because you didn't triple S Ceres in most cases, but still, that is pretty damn sweet right there. And yeah, you have a lot of different combinations that you could go with for the other 2 heroes. That's just like a potential team setup for you guys. And I was also thinking about something else you could go with, right? So in the Rangers, there's this Ranger called Celeste. And Celeste, well, she is pretty insane with a base speed of 128, right? And if you use, because you can use her memory imprint, right? You can increase the team's speed by 8. And this would allow you to go first with Ceres. Well, you have a better chance. You have to consider that there's a minus and 5% between plus and minus 5% speed roll initially. So there could be a difference of 10% speed between you and the enemy. And if you are unlucky, you might roll 5%, 5% speed, and they might roll 5, like you're -5, they are +5, and then they're able to cut in. I mean, go first, sorry. And that definitely messes things up, and it's definitely unfortunate. But if you bring memory imprints, it allows you to, lower that chance quite considerably, and you could just straight up go first so often. So basically, you could use Celeste, right? This thing is actually very good. And that's another way for you to use Challenger Dominal, guys. You could, maybe Celeste, you don't really want her to go first, because if she does, then, well, you still have to deal with immunity sets on the enemy team. That's the thing. If you go with Ceres first, then you take care of their immunity set, and then you could have like Challenger Dominal go after, and like, you know, use her S3, boosting combat readiness, giving crit chance buff, taking someone out. Then you could have the volley from Celeste going, and then 50% chance of decreasing combat readiness by 20%. So that is pretty nice, and she can keep on using her S2 as long as she has more than 80% HP or more. She has an attack buff here, so she's gonna have crit chance buff from Challenger Domino too. Or you could have Celeste right after Cerise. That could be a duo for you with the 8-speed memory imprint, and then the other two could be whatever you want, basically. But it's definitely a solid start. But I mean, if they are relying on counters, right? If they have counter heroes, counter set, Elbrus Ritual Sword, Celeste will get destroyed. But Celeste and Challenger Domino is definitely a super powerful duo. The thing is, there's, yeah, like I said, counters and there's immunity sets. But Cerise can definitely change things up here. So she does have strengths. She does definitely have weaknesses when it comes down to Earth heroes. If we look here, you know, like good old Roside. Roside's a combat readiness booster, and he is Earth, so that's not good for her. It's a 50% chance of you know, missing him, and the thing is, it doesn't matter really. Like if you apply the restraint on him and the speed down, who cares? Maybe he still goes, right? And he's gonna boost the combat readiness of the rest of the team. And you know, maybe they have maybe they have other Earth heroes on their team. Maybe they have a Vildred, and he will not be affected because she missed him, and she didn't apply restraint on him, so he's getting the combat readiness from Roside. So going in there against her with like as many Earth heroes as possible is definitely a good idea. The thing is, Roside is a thief, and Roside can wear Moonlight Dreamblade. That means she has to go through the check of Earth, Ice versus Earth, 50% chance of missing, and then the Moonlight Dreamblade, 20% evasion. So maybe your series, maybe you want to wear this artifact on her to deal with those Moonlight Dreamblades, right? You got Oath Key that increase your hit chance by up to 20%. So basically, hit chance counters evasion. So with this thing, you can completely counter Moonlight Dreamblade, the 20% evasion on that. The thing is, if they have Assassin Cartuja on their team and he's giving 15% evasion to their whole team, then you still have to go through that check. So that's the thing. Definitely ways to like be annoying to her, ways to sort of counter her. It's not 100% chance though, but still, yeah. Now, if you're gonna be using some heroes to like cleanse her, then yeah, that can definitely be viable. She's applying 2 debuffs, so if you want to use like Angelic Montmorency for cleansing, then that's not gonna work. It's gonna take 1 debuff off of all allies. The thing is, I'm actually gonna open the video on my other phone, and I wanted to check actually when she did use her skill 3 if what is the first debuff? Is it restraint or speed down? I'm looking here, the arena battle, and I'm seeing that the first debuff, oh, there we go. I have to go back here like a second. Yeah, restraint is the first debuff on the left side, and then on the right you got speed down. So what is good is that restraint is the first debuff. That means if you can only clear 1 debuff, that means the restraint's going out first before speed down. So you can use Angelic Montmorency and like start with the spell, the skill 2, right? So that's one way to go about it. I mean, S3 gives 50% combat readiness, so it's in a lot of cases that's definitely something solid. There's another thing that you could use, right? You can use Armin. Armin has she has an exclusive equipment that dispels 1 debuff from the whole team with Shield Wall. So you could use that to take care of that restraint but you kind of need your hero that can dispel to go first or before, you know, your key heroes. So yeah, she's gonna need a lot of speed considering like how much speed she has. Yeah, 91 definitely in the lower end, the lower spectrum there. So Desert Joe Bazaar, of course, like in terms of speed, he's at 108 versus Cerise at 122, which is yeah, that's a pretty big difference right there. But he like cleanses all debuffs, then he grants immunity for 3 turns plus boost combat readiness by 30%. So I mean the dispelling happens first. So Cerise, you know, like it's not gonna work. He's gonna dispel that restraint and apply immunity, boost combat readiness. He definitely will counter her. You can use Tamarine and Issaria. Good old Tamisaria. You can you know, do your thing. You're gonna be able to take those debuffs off your team, so you don't have to worry about that. For offense against her, I mean, maybe you can make this Tina like super quick, but her base speed is garbage at 89. She definitely can dispel with her S3 and restrain plus speed down. That is 2 debuffs, boosting your combat readiness by up to like between 15 and 30% if it's 1 or 2 debuff that was applied. So that's pretty solid right there. Like that's she could be your combat readiness booster on top of taking care of those debuffs. So it's a viable strategy. It's just you will need some godly speed on her. And I mean, she might be too slow. You might have your team that would be, the whole team is going to be too slow, and the enemy team is going to be able to like just straight up cut, like go before you, you know, and just kill you or take out your damage dealer or dealers before you can do anything. So that doesn't quite work. So Earth, dispelling of 1 debuff will take care of restraint. You don't need to dispel all debuffs. So you know there's definitely different ways to go about it to deal with her. Oh yeah, there's also the other artifacts I wanted to talk about. So for Ranger, right, you have access to these artifacts here. Song of Stars can use with her can be used with her skill 2 and skill 1. So if it's a single target attack, you can apply the target debuff for 2 turns. So that could definitely work. And the thing is, if you want to have something going on constantly, Sash Aitane is definitely solid if you want to boost the combat readiness of your team, assuming you're going to be able to take out someone ASAP. So Cerise with Challenge Abdominal could be a pretty sweet combo there with Sash Aitane's. Infinity Basket can be used to increase dual attack chance of all allies, except for the caster. So during the caster's turn, the thing is, during the caster's turn, that means you have to use your skill 1 during the caster's turn. Rosa Hargana will allow her to duel. I think the Rosa Hargana is more solid. She's going to be able to dual attack, right? Increasing her dual attack chance, giving her up to 15% combat readiness with her skill 1, so that's pretty solid. So yeah, quick things I wanted to say. Now in terms of PvE, to be honest, like I don't see her kit as being like so huge of a deal. I mean, it's just like not gonna be helping you that much. Yes, she has the speed down, the restraint. I mean, some boss might become like they might be immune to restraint. Some boss like Wyvern is immune to speed down. Wyvern cannot have its combat readiness manipulated. You cannot reduce the combat readiness of the Wyvern, so that skill 2 doesn't work to reduce combat readiness. Yeah, she will go more often, but her damage is garbage. She doesn't provide like a defense down, an attack break. So I feel like her usage is limited, and you have better, you know, there's better heroes. You can just bring Tarnor Guard, you can put Angelica in the front line, or Angelic Montmorency. Your third could be just a 3-star Alexa, free-to-play team, baby, and you could just deal with the Wyvern way better than if you brought Cerise in the team. So I mean, her PV usage is not gonna be so great. She's no Seaside Bellona. If we're talking about PvE, I'm sure she might find some niche usage, you know, in the Abyss, Automated Tower hard, Abyss, especially newer floors that get released. She can definitely see some usage there. But I mean, that's gonna be a hero that you kind of want to like throw all your best speed gear onto her. So if you already have like a Bazaar built and like he's been helping you a lot, like in PvP offense, maybe even defense, then maybe it's gonna be a hard choice for you to just throw your best speed onto her. So yeah, anyways, that was my first thoughts about the series, and I'll be making some more videos. Of course, when she gets released, I will get her, I will showcase her in multiple areas of the game, especially in PvP, where she definitely will shine the most. You know, Arena, Guild Wars, World Arena, be it defense, be it offense. I'll check how she performs on my defense as well, and talk about different team compositions, you know, how you could best use her and how to build her and all that good stuff. So yeah, keep that in mind. I'll yeah, definitely stay tuned for that stuff. And that's really gonna be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Astronox. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Press the bell icon to be notified whenever I release a new video, and check out my other videos. They should be showing up on the screen now. I got playlists of all sorts: Arena, Guild Wars, guys, tips on how to use an Abyss 462 plus. So check those out if you haven't, and I also have best starter guides for my early to mid game players if you want to progress fast. Join my Discord server, guys. I have almost 8,000 members in the community, and if you want help, if you want some help, if you want to help the community, feel free to join. And yeah, good luck with all you do. And yeah, DN, I mean, she's got that cleanse too, with her skill too. And the first cleanse will be taking restraint off before speed down. So that's kind of unfortunate that restraint gets removed first. But yeah, those are like small details that I noticed that is definitely things that will make a big difference, you know. So yeah, Akates too, she can cleanse all debuffs. Anyways, I'll talk about group compositions and heroes that can counter her and stuff like that more in depth in another video. But I feel like that's pretty much for this one. That's a pretty long video there. Quick thoughts about her, or not so quick, I guess, but my early thoughts about her. Anyways, that's really it for this one. Good luck with all you do. Peace out for now.